The Kohinoor 105 carats oval-shaped and arguably the world's most famous diamond today. It's set among 2,800 other stones in the crown jewels. But it hasn't always been there. It is generally considered priceless, a jewel whose value cannot be quantified. But it's safe to say that Kohinoor is the world's most expensive diamond. There are multiple conflicting legends about the origin of the diamond. However, in the words of the colonial administrator Theo Metcalfe, there is very meager and imperfect evidence of the early history of the Kohinoor before the 1740s. According to historians, the most accepted view is that this diamond was found in the Kohinoor mines, in the Golconda region. The Golconda diamonds are found on the banks of the Krishna River, on coastal Andhra Pradesh. During the 18th century, this area was the only area in the world where diamonds could be found. The first written record of the mention of Kohinoor was in 1526. When the first Mughal Emperor Zahiruddin Babur came to India in 1526. In Baburnama, he had written that, "It is a diamond that is worth half the daily expense of the whole world." It is believed that he had won the Kohinoor diamond as a prize for winning a particular battle. The second mention of Kohinoor was by Shah Jahan in 1628. When he commissioned his famous peacock throne. It took 7 years for this throne to be finished. And it was 4 times as expensive as the Taj Mahal. A large amount of precious stones and gems were used to make this throne. But of numbers, precious gems, one was the Kohinoor diamond, and the other was the red Timur ruby. An interesting fact, the Kohinoor wasn't the most precious gem owned by the Mughals. The Mughals preferred the Timur ruby, which was the most valuable stone for them. Because the Mughals preferred brightly colored stones. On the other hand, the Hindu and Sikh kings preferred diamonds, but despite that, the Kohinoor was given a prestigious place on the peacock throne, by making it the Eye of the Peacock. The diamond hadn't been named Kohinoor yet. Under the Mughals, Delhi had become one of the wealthiest cities in the world. More than 2 million people lived here, greater than the combined population of London and Paris. But by this point in time, the Mughal Empire had weakened. The wealth of Delhi attracted Persia's Nadir Shah. In 1739, Nadir Shah invaded Delhi and defeated Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah was the 15th Mughal emperor and the great-grandson of Aurangzeb. Nadir Shah had too many treasures from Delhi with him when he returned. 700 elephants, 4,000 camels, and 12,000 horses were needed to carry the treasures. Among these treasures, was the Kohinoor diamond as well. The first verifiable record of the diamond comes from history by Muhammad Kazim Marvi of the 1740s invasion of northern India by Nadir Shah. For the next 70 years, Kohinoor remained part of present-day Afghanistan. It is alleged that Nadir Shah exclaimed, Kohinoor, Persian and Hindi Urdu for mountain of light, when he first obtained the famous stone. One of his consorts is even noted to have said, if a strong man were to throw 4 stones, one north, one south, one east, one west, and a 5th stone up into the air, and if the space between them were to be filled with gold, all would not equal the value of the Kohinoor. After Nadir Shah was killed and his empire collapsed in 1747, the Kohinoor fell to his grandson, who in 1751 gave it to Ahmad Shah Durrani, founder of the Afghan Empire, in return for his support. One of Ahmed's grandsons, Shuja Shah Durrani, wore a bracelet containing the Kohinoor on the occasion of Mount Stuart Elphinstone's visit to Peshawar in 1808. A year later, Shah Shuja formed an alliance with the United Kingdom to help defend against a possible invasion of Afghanistan by Russia. He was quickly overthrown but fled with the diamond to Lahore, in modern Pakistan, where Ranjit Singh, the founder of the Sikh Empire, in return for his hospitality, insisted upon the gem being given to him, and he took possession of it in 1813. Ranjit Singh had the diamond examined by jewelers of Lahore for 2 days to ensure that Shuja had not tricked him. After the jewelers confirmed its genuineness, he donated 125,000 rupees to Shuja. Ranjit Singh then asked the principal jewelers of Amritsar to estimate the diamond's value. The jewelers declared that the value of the diamond was far beyond all computation. Ranjit Singh then affixed the diamond to the front of his turban. He kept the diamond within a high-security facility at the Gobindgarh fort when it was not in use. In June 1839, Ranjit Singh suffered his third stroke, and it became apparent that he would die soon. After Ranjit Singh's death in 1839, the Punjabi throne was passed on to 4 rulers over the next 4 years. By 1843, there were only 2 people standing. One, Ranjit Singh's wife Rani Jindal, and the other, a 5-year-old child, Prince Duleep Singh. Finally, when the Second Anglo-Sikh War ended in 1849, the East India Company ended the rule of the Punjab Empire. By then Duleep Singh was about 10 years old. EIC made him sign a Treaty of Lahore. As per this treaty, the Kohinoor diamond was supposed to be handed over to the East India Company. Punjab was the last major state that hadn't been conquered by the British. After winning this war, the East India Company didn't want to leave any scope to allow the Sikh Empire to sprout once again. And so they jailed Jindal, and the only other remaining family member was shipped to London and converted to Christianity. It came into British possession after changing hands several times over the centuries, being possessed by the Mughals, the Persians, the Afghans, and the Sikhs before the British. The Kohinoor is now part of the crown jewels of the United Kingdom. It was seized by the East India Company in 1849. It was a gift that the company gave to Queen Victoria. In 1851, in the Hyde Park of London, an exhibition was held, wherein the British people had the opportunity to see the Kohinoor. But the public reaction was quite unexpected. People were surprised to see empires fighting over a small piece of rock. People couldn't believe that it was the same Kohinoor diamond for which people had killed one another. To them, it simply looked like a glass piece, not unlike any normal piece of glass. It was reported by the Times newspaper in June 1851. After the disappointing reaction of the public, Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, commissioned the recutting and polishing of Kohinoor in 1852, so that light could be reflected better, and it could shine more. He wanted people to be mesmerized by looking at it. But due to this process, Kohinoor lost 40% of its weight. It used to be 186 carats, and after the recutting and polishing, it was left with 105.6 carats. Here is the question of why this diamond is given to the Queen, not the King. Because there is a superstition that this diamond was cursed. It was said that, he who owns this diamond will own the world, but will also know all its misfortunes. Possession of the Kohinoor led to murder, torture, mutilation, and treachery. But only a woman can wear it with impunity. When the British got their hands on Kohinoor, they too were scared of the curse of Kohinoor. So going forward, the British royal family decided that they wouldn't give the Kohinoor to a man. When the monarch would be male, the queen consort would be the one to wear the Kohinoor. And that wise over the next years, when the British throne was passed on, Kohinoor always went to the Queen. Eventually, it became a part of the crown jewels. Queen Victoria wore it in a brooch. After Queen Victoria's death, the Kohinoor came down to Queen Alexandra. Then in 1937 the diamond was transferred to the crown of the Queen's mother. Over the last 800 years of Kohinoor's history, the British monarchy has been the owner of Kohinoor for the longest. Kohinoor has been with them for 173 years. There is an ownership dispute for Kohinoor between India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, as it belonged to them in the past. Because of the disputes over the diamond's rightful ownership, there have been various compromises suggested. These include dividing it into 4, with a piece given to each of Afghanistan, India, and Pakistan, with the final piece retained by the British Crown. Another suggestion is that the jewel be housed in a special museum at the Wagah border between India and Pakistan. However, this suggestion does not cater to Afghan claims, nor the reality of current British possession. The British government rejects these compromises, and has stated since the end of the British Raj that the status of the diamond is non-negotiable.